Hello, everybody. All right, so as we wait for more people to show up, hope everybody's having a good week thus far. As today is Tuesday, September the 12th, 2023. As we wait for more people to show up, I hope everybody's having a good week. Let's see. And with that, I'm just waiting around for people to show up. Let's see now. Transformers, robots in disguise. Autobots rage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in disguise. Transformers. Hong Kong Fooey, number one super guy. Hong Kong Fooey, quicker than the human eye. Chicky chong, chicky wong, 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 wong. Hong Kong Fooey, you're terrific. Let's see. I'd say we're just waiting around for people to show up. They're dashing, they're daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. Find adventure that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears. Life is like a. Alright, so we're up to 3 minutes now. So I guess we'll go over what's on tap for tonight. On tonight's show, of course, we're gonna go over a couple articles from Bounding into Comics. First of which, I guess as soon as I can find it again. And actually restart my Angel Studios, which is of course the distributor behind the Sound of Freedom movie, has announced an anime-inspired series called Gabriel and the Guardians. Look at that. Also, let's see what else. Oh yeah, they already have scripts ready for a second season on the One Piece Netflix series, so we'll be looking at that as well. Plus, depending on how fast we get through those two, we might add more articles. Of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up as well as this day in each history. So let's see now. We're at 4.5 minutes here. I'll give it a few more minutes, or another 30 seconds or so before we get started here. Let's see now. Well, I guess things are dimmed down enough to where I can at least. So I'm gonna put some music on for a quick second while I take care of something real quick. I'll be right back. Alrighty. So, anyways, so as always, guys, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Hopefully, so with that, why don't we go ahead then and get ourselves started here? So let me get off the floor here by sharing screen here. So where are we at on time here? So 6:30. Okay. All right, so here we go. So the first article we're going to look at here is this one right down here. And let's bring that up.
Twitch now.
Alrighty, so Angel Studios announces anime-inspired Gabriel and the Guardian series. Article by John F. Trent, published back last Friday the 8th. Alright, so Angel Studios, the distributor of Sound of Freedom and producer of The Chosen, announced they will produce a brand new anime-inspired series titled Gabriel and the Guardian. Now, of course, this is not necessarily the first time that a Christian company has ventured into the world of anime. For those who grew up back in the 80s, you might remember the original Superbook series from that was on CBN and TBN later. A lot of the animation work was done by a Japanese company. Anyways, let's see. So, yeah, we already read that part. So, in a press release, Angel Studios detailed the series, quote, is an anime-influenced series set in the enchanting world of Aura, where celestial beings, mortals, and dark giants collide in a battle for destiny and light, unquote. They said, quote, inspired by ancient Hebrew scriptures, Gabriel and the Guardians is an epic fantasy series that tells the journey of Gabriel, a celestial being from an unseen realm, with unyielding optimism. Gabriel never backs down and inspires his friends through enchanting adventures of truth and self-discovery, unquote. Now, there was the Archangel Gabriel, so I wonder if that's who they might be talking about. Yeah. So I said, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Oops. All right, so continuing on with the article here. The show's creator, Jason Moody, also stated, just like Tolkien's Middle-earth is influenced by Northern European mythos, our fantasy world of Ara is shaped by the lore and mythos found in ancient Hebrew writings, the Mesopotamian cultures, unquote. Angel Studios also released a teaser trailer for the series. On the company's website, Angel Studios details that not only will they be producing the anime, but will also produce a manga book series. So this is one of the rare occasions where it actually works in reverse. Normally, the manga provides the source material for the animes, but in this case, it seems like, well, even though this is not necessarily based on a manga, this is based on Hebrew lore. This is much like what Japanese do with some things about like for example, Le Chevalier Dayon, for example, or some of their own epic histories, right? With stuff like Shura no Toki, Peacemaker Kurogane, um, Sengoku Basara, among others. Roni Kenshin. Let's see. They also provide further details about the various characters in the series. First, they provide some details about Gabriel. Quote, unleash your spirit of hope with Gabriel, who, with unyielding optimism, never backs down and inspires all with his unshakable identity. Watch as Gabriel's inspiring influence ignites hearts, leading him and his friends on an enchanting adventure of truth and self-discovery. Unquote. Hey, JR, I love religious mythology. Mm-hmm. Anyways, if you can like and share the stream so we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, anything grabs your attention here, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, anyways, continuing on here. Next is Namaya. Quote, meet Namaya, the cunning alchemist and princess of Kaginara. Longing to mend her fractured family, she faces the darkness in search of her lost brother and must make a crucial choice, embrace the shadow of her royal lineage, or surrender herself to the hope of truth. Unquote. Finally, there is Knock. Oh, meet Knock, bold and boastful, who has a desire to be faithful in the ways of the Korra clerics, but vengeance consumes him. Knock's path entails discovering the true purpose of his people's light to illuminate the world beyond their borders. As Knock learns that he can't let his past trauma dictate his choices, he uncovers a destiny that transcends his personal vendetta and embarks on an epic journey of growth, redemption, and the revelation of a radiant truth in a world filled with wonder and discovery. Moody and fellow creator David Evan Cunningham went into further detail on a live stream about the various characters, which you can see below. Meet the characters if you want to go find it. I'll meet the characters of Gabriel and the Guardians. Anyways, as we continue on here, let's see if I can find the voice cast for the anime-inspired series includes veteran Johnny Young Bosch as Gabriel, James Arnold Taylor as Malacros, and Matt Lanter as Knock. Johnny Young Bosch is known for his work as Ichigo Kurosaki in Bleach, Kaneda in Akira, Zora in Black Clover, Nate in Yokai Watch, Orga Itsuka in Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blood Orphans, and Genma Shiranai in Naruto Shippuden. James Arnold Taylor is known for his work as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars The Clone Wars, Johnny Test in Johnny Test, Leonardo in the 2007 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, and various voices in Batman Brave and the Bold, including Green Arrow and Guy Gardner. Matt Lanter is known for voicing Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars The Clone Wars, various voices in Ultimate Spider-Man, including Agent Venom, Harry Osborn, and Flash Thompson. He also played Liam Court on 90210 and George Hachine in Jupiter's Legacy. Angel Studios chief content officer Jeffrey Harmon commented on the series. Quote, anime is a growing market around the world, and the Angel Guild has expressed incredible excitement about the series, unquote. He added, quote, we are excited to step into this market, bringing what we believe to be the first equity crowdfunded anime influenced series to life, unquote. And as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who missed it earlier, this is not the first foray into anime that a Christian company has done. For those of you who might have grown up back in the '80s, you might remember the original Superbook on either the Christian Broadcasting Network or the Trinity Broadcasting Network. Um, you know, the animation was done by the Japanese. I think it might have been Toei who might have done the animation. Um, it was originally produced here in America, but the animation, the drawings were done in Japanese. So the show will be animated by uh, Kayanara Animation Inc. Are you interested in checking out Gabriel and the Guardians? That sounds a little bit interesting. So there we go with that one. Um, now let's see. Now we'll get ready to move on to the um, next article. As I said, we do end up having we do end up having time. We might even add some more stories to it. Actually, it's kind of funny because this is the next story where we didn't have to really. All right, so and I know I was thinking of skipping most of the rest of the One Piece stories until we were caught up, but this one, even though it was still from Saturday, this past Saturday, um, this one does sound like a pretty big story here, and I know it was already covered a few times by like Yellow Flash, among others. So Netflix's live action One Piece producers say, quote unquote, scripts ready for second season. Expect to receive renewal decision, quote, in the next week to 2 weeks, unquote. Article by Spencer McCulley, published. Now, okay, well, they'll probably mention it here, but we do know that they have, because we've been covering the interviews and all that. We know that it's been successful, due in large part to the fact they've been staying true to the source material. You know, so as the series continues to garner praise from audiences for being a not terrible adaptation, Tomorrow Studios has confirmed that a second season of Netflix's live action take on One Piece is ready to enter production as soon as both Netflix gives the green light and SAG AFTRA finds a resolution to their ongoing strike. So that could hold up that strike could hold up a lot of shows. Speaking with Variety on September 7th, Tomorrow Studios CEO Marty Adelstein revealed that although Netflix has yet to officially approve their return to the sea, he and his team have already, quote, got scripts ready, unquote, for a second season of Luffy's live action adventure. And considering the voluminous material they have to work with, adapting it you know, the small screen, as it were. Let's see. Quote, I think, in brackets, Netflix is, unbracketed, looking at various situations about how many episodes they do. Do they break them up? The producer told the entertainment news outlet. Um, Quote, I think they're trying to figure that out this week. I suspect we'll hear from them in the next week or weeks to 2 weeks. There seems to be a big impetus to keep this going and to come up with a long-term strategy. So we're just waiting for that, unquote. There's a live action look at Buggy, who is being portrayed by Jeff Ward there. To this end, Adelstein noted that one of the biggest challenges standing in the series' way of renewal was the question of how to sustain the series' impressive viewership numbers through a second season. So, I think what it would need to do, and it's been doing, is broadening out, unquote, he opined. Quote, we're getting a lot of family viewing, and that is really the key, is to keep in the non-fans and the people who aren't aware of the IP, because the show stands on its own, and you get people to watch it, and people really love it. Now, I know one of the things that I know Yellow Flash talked a lot about is that this is a way of getting people who are not necessarily into reading mangas or watching anime into the IP, interested in the IP. They more or less have stayed true to the source material. They've just kind of adapted it more for a live audience feel, right? The One Piece, let's see, left to right. Um, Tad Skyler as Sanji, Makenyu Arata as Rono Zoro. One Piece, okay. All right, there. Turning to the analytical side of the equation, Mara Studios president Becky Clements asserted, quote, they keep bracket renewal notices as close to the vest until post-launch. But with Netflix's support of the title, we expected it to be number one, and we sensed their research and algorithms probably saw the possibility for that. Unquote. Quote, but in our subsequent calls post-launch, we have been told that we have exceeded expectations, which is also fantastic, unquote. She added. Well, if they've exceeded expectations, and I'm guessing that means that it's, unless the strike goes on for an inordinate amount of time, they're getting a second season. They're more or less getting a second season. You could almost argue that it is almost etched in stone for that, unless as long as they keep doing what they're doing and don't try to pull the stuff that kind of crash and burned other properties. Ask what a timeline for the series return could look like once the aforementioned SAG-AFTRA strike finally comes to an end. Clements asserted, quote, realistically, hopefully a year away, if we move very quickly, and that is a possibility, unquote. Quote, somewhere between a year and 18 months, we could be ready to air, unquote, she further estimated. So neither Adelstein nor Clements provided any details as to what storylines could be adapted in a second season of One Piece, given how faithful the studio has been to Ichiro Oda's original manga thus far. Not hard to imagine what could be on deck for the Straw Hats. Imagine if they were to get, and imagine if they did get to the they did get to, I don't remember the name of the arc itself, but it's the one where Robin surrenders herself to the military, and you see the rest of the Straw Hats standing on that one wall and saying, just ask me to help you and I'll help you. That would be quite a scene to see live action wise. Given the teaser scene in the closing minutes of the first season's final episodes, a further order of 8 or so episodes would likely see the live action series take on the Logtown and Reverse Mountain arcs. Reverse Mountain. Oh, I see. Reverse Mountain, the one. Okay, that's further given the way in which live action series also slightly plays around with the manga's original timeline. It's also possible audiences could also be treated to some part, if not all, of the Arabasta arc or Alabaster, depending on how you want to say it. At the very least, it's a likely bet the season will introduce both Vivi and Tony Chopper to the world of live action. That's going to be interesting to see Chopper live action. How that all works out. And there we go. That one went pretty quick as well. That was more like again a release article talking about the potential release or potential schedule. Let's see, 20. Yeah, we have it. Probably have enough time for at least one more story. We can probably try to see what we can find here. Let's see if there's anything here that. Oh, video games. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I know they've been doing a few Godzillas. Let's take a look at this one here. And this one's from September, so we're getting caught up now. This one's from yesterday. Let's see if I can get caught up here. All right, so here we go with this one now. Trailer for Godzilla series, in smaller quotes, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, on smaller quote, reveals premiere date on Apple TV Plus and more. Article by J.B. Augustine, published September 11th, which was yesterday, 2023. All right, so here we go. There is nothing but good news to report about the Apple TV Plus series Monarch Legacy of Monsters. First off, the trailer dropped this week, giving us a better idea of the story and a premiere date. Secondly, the date isn't far off, so it won't be adversely affected by the ongoing actor and writer strikes. Basically meaning that they have enough in the can to get at least a season in, while the strikes are being resolved. That is, according to the renowned publication TV Guide, by way of Twitter X Kaiju news account. At Gomaru Island, the former released a fall preview of the Monsterverse series that offers new details and perspectives from the show's creators. The producer, Tori Tunnel, indicates the line between quote unquote figurative and quote unquote literal monsters will blur, meaning people might be as dangerous as titans. As far as what titans old and new, we shall see throughout Legacy of Monsters run. The director of the series premiere, Matt Shackman, does not want to spoil the surprise. We know we will see Godzilla, um, and possibly the Mutos, um, Mutos since the series um, picked up directly after the events of the 2014 Godzilla movie that started it all. All right, so the trailer showed us some new monsters that. Let's see if there's anybody. No, wait. That might be residents of Skull Island. That opens the door for Kong to make an appearance, which TV Guide's preview notes, but the focus probably won't shift far from Godzilla. For now, the eighth wonder of the world has to remain one of those surprises Shackman wants viewers to excitedly await. Someone else who has been to Skull Island will reach out beyond the grave to continue his quote unquote legacy and move the plot forward. Founder of Monarch and John Goodman character Bill Randa and the footage of his exhibition to the Uncharted Isle resurface, leading our main protagonist to go looking for answers. Um, Played by Anna Sawai, her name is Kate. Let's see here. Kate is a survivor of the 2014 Titan Rumble in San Francisco who goes to Japan in search of her, quote, MIA father, unquote. In the aftermath, there she finds out about her family ties to the secret organization in the business of monsters. She additionally learns of a, quote unquote, shocking betrayal that leads her and her half brother to Monarch agent Lee Shaw. Played by Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt, Shaw um, was there at the first attempt to kill Godzilla with a nuclear weapon in the 1950s. In the present, he has knowledge he is about to share with Kate, which Monarch considers a threat. Whatever his secret is, if it is terrible for the organization, Shaw may prove humans are the real monsters after all. The Last Will and Testament of Bill Randa, as portrayed by John Goodman in Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Hmm. When did John Goodman die? Or did he die or no? Okay, has he died or no? Actually, I think he did die, because if I understand. Let me see. Oh no, I'm sorry, he's still alive. I don't know why I thought he died. Uh, anyways, all right. Well, that's good to know. uh, Monarch Legacy of Monsters will debut in grand fashion on November 17th by dropping its first two episodes directed by Shackman. It will be late for Godzilla Day on the 3rd, but new episodes will premiere every Friday through January 12th. According to X's other kaiju news guy, KDM, um, this time frame coincides with the release window of Godzilla 1.0 or minus 1.0. And there we go with that one. So let's see now. All right, so let's see now. 35 minutes. Will we? Maybe. Maybe we'll see about doing one more article here. They're going as quickly as these, and release articles are not really usually depends on how many you're doing too. Like when we do the ICS and talk about the economy, those take up practically the whole show. That one article, but not only because he's covering multiple releases. In this case, we're covering one release at a time, so each release may only be, you know, may only take a matter of a few minutes. So let's see. Movies, television. All right. Well, anyways, here's the last story from the 11th. Might as well just take care of this as well. Um, so this will probably be the last article we'll do for tonight because now we're just basically a day behind now. So I think this is the last part from the 11th. So, anyways, Power Ranger executive producer Simon Bennett believes that, quote, that to reach a large mainstream audience, the franchise has to move away from its tokusatsu roots, unquote. Oh boy, there's somebody else trying to trying to mess around with a property. It sounds like. Article by Spencer McCulley, published September 11th. So, in the latest example of Hollywood's inability to understand just why fans are unashamed to unironically enjoy their favorite franchises, Power Rangers executive producer Simon Bennett recently shared his belief that in order for the franchise to, quote, reach a large mainstream audience, unquote, it must, quote, move away from its tokusatsu roots, unquote. Which is absolute BS because it's Power Rangers is probably one of the most successful franchises of all times. Don't I wonder if these people have ever heard the expression "if it ain't broke, don't fix it." Right? These people are trying to fix something that's not broke. It's only broke in their minds because it's not something that they're wanting to say. Bennett, who first served as the director for Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel, and Beast Morphers series, before moving on to serve as executive producer for Dino Fury, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Once and Always, and the upcoming Cosmic Fury, first raised a suggestion for the franchise's future on August 24th. Yeah, it's still pretty successful, and you're wanting to tinker with it. Dude, how far up your rear end do you have your head? Speaking to the ongoing pushback from fans against his decision to have Cosmic Fury feature original suits and footage rather than archival material from either of its source Super Sentai series, um, Kishiru Sentai Ryu Solger and Uchu Sentai Kairangar, um, Ranger. Um, the franchise executive producer condescendingly trotted out the tired defense. Quote, call me radical, but I suspect that those adult Power Ranger fans who are also diehard Super Sentai fans may be vociferous when Power Rangers deviates from its traditional source material, but are also a minuscule percentage of the viewership of the show, which is made for children. And what we've seen is any time these people try to deviate from the original source material, it usually ends up badly for them. This guy apparently is another guy who didn't get that memo, I guess. Let's see now. Alright, so getting back to this article then. In turn, Twitter user Dam's Turn argued, quote, made for children doesn't mean you can't have a mature approach, to be honest. Disney era, especially RPM, are the proof of that. I think we can't blame anyone because you want the license they love to be better at their eyes. Quote, personally, if I turned my head to Sentai and Kamen Rider, past like current, it's because they are more what I search. The mature approach, I think a license like that should have to share his vision and message to kids, unquote. They added, quote, but that's my opinion. Quote, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider are fantastically imaginative and brilliantly successful. Yeah, because people, and the reason they're successful in America is because they stuck to the source material. They didn't start monkeying around with it, because when you start monkeying around with stuff, that's usually when you fall flat on your face. Apparently, you ding dongs don't want to learn that. Replied Bennett. Quote, I love them and also adore Studio Ghibli films. However, some aspects of these properties are very specifically Japanese in their sensibilities and will therefore be of niche appeal in US, which then there's no problem with that. I think sometimes, having that as having that actually gives it a little more character. Um, you know, they create these worlds their own. Quote, to attract a sizable mainstream audience in the US, a process of cultural translation is required to, in smaller quotes here, Americanize the shows, unquote. He continued, quote, this is what Power Rangers had been doing for 30 years. Maybe with changing some of the names around, that's one thing, but if you're going to change, it depends upon what you're changing it. Quote, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers hit the zeitgeist in the early 90s, as it was new, unquote, Bennett recalled. Quote, and there was nothing else like it in Western TV land. Maintaining the scale of its success after the, in smaller quotes, newness wore off was always going to be a challenge. But I think part of Hasbro's goal to move Power Rangers to being fully original is to reduce aspects of Sentai style and design, which may be challenging for a US kid. No, I think the kids usually get into it pretty well, because you're talking about a show where you've got good guys versus bad guys. You've got you know big mechas. You got cool fighting scenes. All of which kids get into. You know, the franchise executive producer then claimed, quote, the superheroes in spandex fighting rubber monster suits trope is a hard sell to audiences brought up on Marvel and Star Wars. Roughly 2 weeks after engaging in this thread, Bennett would again argue in favor of Power Rangers distancing itself from Super Sentai. this time while offering his thoughts on the current state of Power Rangers while discussing his hopes for directing Jonathan Entwistle's upcoming YA themed reboot of the franchise. Quote, I'm a big fan of Jonathan Entwistle's previous output, unquote, wrote Bennett to his personal Twitter page on September 10th. Quote, end of the bleeping world, and I'm not okay with this. We're fresh and groundbreaking TV. I'm confident that if Hasbro can get the new Entwistle YA Power Rangers reboot series off the ground, it'll be riveting and original. And its optimism was then met with a cautious agreement from Twitter user at Sonic Blue Ranger, who told the executive producer, quote, I hope so. My big concern is it's going to try to veer too far away from franchise's tokusatsu roots in a misguided attempt to try make Power Rangers the new MCU or big nerd franchise in general. Unquote. The idea of ripping out the soul of a series, you know, just because, a misguided attempt to attract more people to it. What is your favorite episode 6? I don't have one. Let's see. What's your favorite Corner Gas? I've never watched Corner Gas. Anyways, let's see if I can get this. Taking note of their worries, Bennett responded, quote, I think, and this is only my opinion, that to reach a large mainstream audience, the franchise has to move away from its tokusatsu roots, unquote. Yeah, and we've seen people try that before with other franchises, and they usually fall flat on their face. Quote, it's this that has kept Power Rangers niche for so long with U.S. audiences. Again, nothing wrong with that. Even as a niche product, it's still very successful. Nothing wrong with that. He added, ironically ignoring the role such dismissive attitudes towards Power Rangers and Super Sentai's earnestness have played in both franchises, developing negative reputations among Western audiences. Quote, it needs to do this in a way that is fresh and compelling. Unsurprisingly to everyone but himself, fans of both franchises did not take well to Bennett's suggestion, many in turn pouring out to publicly criticize his dismissal of Super Sentai's sincerity. However, rather than accept that this negative reception was the result of his opinion being rather unpopular, Bennett would return to Twitter the next day to accuse the critics of attacking him. Of course he did. They're not into what he has. They're not into his view of it, so therefore they must be wrong or something. Quote, amazing, unquote, he wrote on September 11th. Quote, gotta love Twitter, another mass pile-on as people choose to misread reasonably innocuous comments and attack the poster. This really is like digital deadwood. Met with at Kira Maynep's frustrated declaration that he, quote, shouldn't be directing a tokusatsu franchise if you hate tokusatsu, unquote, and his, quote, inability to take any criticism, even when it's productive, shows why this brand is dying, unquote. And it ultimately explained, quote, I don't hate tokusatsu. I admire it greatly. Then why are you trying to change it? Why are you trying to change if you love it so much, dude, why are you trying to change it? Quote, my comment was that for Power Rangers to find mass audience success in the U.S. again, I think it needs to move away from its tokusatsu roots, unquote, concluded. Sadly, such denigration of the, in smaller quotes, magic that makes Super Sentai work is expected of a Hollywood creator who admitted that upon joining the franchise, quote, it took me some time to get my head around how obviously plastic toys and rubber monsters were taken so seriously, unquote. Quote, there was laughter at our Japanese footage meetings, admitted Bennett on August 20th, quote, um, where the excerpts selected by the writers were discussed by other HODs, rematching um, rematching locations and action. Alrighty then, so there we go, and that's the last of the articles we'll go over tonight here. 51 minutes. So, let's see, we got some. Will you change your if that means profile pic? No. Um, Now I don't know what if you mean profile pic. No, but I don't know what other thing of PFP you might be talking about. What's your favorite 2023 anime? Well, I haven't gotten around to watching many anime that were made this year yet. Um, I do know that the latest season of Rising of the Shield Hero is coming out. That one should be good. Have you watched Full Metal? Yes, I have. I've watched I've watched the first season, Full Metal Panic. I've watched Fumofu, and I've watched Second Raid. So, anyways, gonna just put some music on for a quick moment here while I take care of some lighting issues here. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back now. So I think we're pretty much caught up on at least day one. Well, through the 11th. So we won't, as I said, we won't do any more today. So with that, why don't we go ahead and talk a bit about do some wrestling wrap up here. So let's see. Among some of the WWE news, of course, Nia Jax apparently made her return and setting up a potential, I guess, three-way feud between her, WWE World Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, and Raquel Rodriguez, as Ripley successfully retained her title last night. Let's see. Matt Riddle has been pulled from WWE events following the incident that they're currently investigating involving the police officer at the airport. So that's and it's official now. Endeavor now owns the merger has gone through. So Endeavor has UFC and WWE have merged under Endeavor. So now that deal has finally gone through. So, anyways, also some AEW news as tomorrow night's Dynamite, and we'll talk probably about it. Talk about it tomorrow as well. But on tomorrow night's Dynamite, some stuff's coming up. We do have the finals between Samoa Joe and Roderick Strong to see who will go on a week from tomorrow on the 20th at Grand Slam to challenge MJF for the here's the card on tap for tomorrow night. Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe are in the final match. See who will be challenging MJF at the following week's Grand Slam event. In a four-way eliminator match to determine who will be challenging Saraya for the AEW World Women's title. There will be all former champions Hikaru Shida, Toni Storm, Nyla Rose, and Dr. Britt Baker. Jon Moxley will be defending the international title against Big Bill. And Brian Cage renews his feud with Adam Page. So there we have that. So that's all the wrestling wrap-up we have for you. So now what we'll do is we will go ahead and today being Tuesday, September 9th, 2023, let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. So anyways, first off, we're going to go back 40 years ago today, as on this date 40 years ago today, G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, the miniseries The Mass Device, and Inspector Gadget both premiered in syndication on this date 40 years ago today. So on this date 40 years ago today, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, and Inspector Gadget premiered in syndication. So there we go with that. And also on this date 5 years ago today, the 35th and final issue of Haunted Horror from IDW went on sale on this date 5 years ago today. So on this date 5 years ago today, 35th and final issue of Haunted Horror went on sale on this date 5 years ago today. It sold for $4.99, 48 pages. So with that, I thank you all for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We actually got through a few more articles, and initially I just plotted out 2, but we actually ended up getting through 4. And because of that, we're actually just about caught up. We're still probably end up a day behind because even though we're through the 11th, which was yesterday, today's the 12th. We'll probably be starting on the 12th, doing articles on 12th, 13th. So it looks like we're pretty much getting caught up here. With that, and don't forget, of course, we're back here tomorrow night with more Nietzsche news. Also, this Friday, Tim Olson will be joining me again to take another trip down Comics History Lane. We'll be looking at comics that went on sale in December 1939. This time we'll be looking at comics that went on sale from Dell Comics. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.